Hello, feminine, my love. Today I'm in my feels, and I feel like I'm somewhere in between my inner child, still watching the Disney movies and the Muppets and things like that, and imagining love to be some incredibly healing thing that I didn't feel like I saw anywhere in my life then. And also, when I just became a teenager and thought that I first fell in love. And then later, when I thought that I'd found the love of my life, who turned out to be the one who broke my heart more than anyone else. And then I feel myself now in the present moment and all the mess and pain that I'm in. And also, weirdly enough, I feel like I'm experiencing my future self, me as an old masculine, sitting back, looking back at all of this, laughing at myself. And I think one of the most incredible feelings is that I think I'm recognizing that you are my first love. I felt like before that you weren't, and it's funny because I can remember so many conversations where you talked about wishing, well, we talked about wishing that we had met first. Though then I recognized that part of the reason we didn't, and that I manifested the karmic painful relationships I did, was because I was hurt long before my first relationship. I wasn't protected. People tricked me into believing most things were my fault. Love has always been corrupted. Up until I met you. And now, after living through this separation and seeing how I thought that I was jumping into something completely new. I was stupid and arrogant, and I thought that I could show you and everyone else that life was different, that, I don't know, I guess I thought that if I left, that it would teach you some lesson, that life was not all sunshine and rainbows and unicorns, and that you couldn't just think positive and have what you want. But all I really ended up doing was teaching myself a lesson, especially as I watch you, and you seem to have this Midas touch. Especially because I remember how much I grew in the moments that we were together, even if it was just only for a few minutes. And I feel like I still grow, even when it's just a simple text. Even when you're reaching out to me and I'm not reaching back, I feel like I grow. And I see what you're doing with your life, with your business, with the kids, with friends, with community. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like you're magical. And I feel like the only lesson I taught myself is that I make my own messes by thinking that that's the way life has to be. And I look back at my life and I see why it was that I believed that life had to include pain and misery. And then I think about all I've been through and why it is that I think those things and thought that they were true, that they were life rules that one day everybody learns when they really grow up. And now I feel like I have no idea what it means to grow up, to be an adult. And I'm still shaky on even what it means, on what love means. But when I think about everyone I've been with, both friends and lovers and family, and I think about how you've always been with me, even in your worst moments, even when you were fierce and fearsome and intimidating, you still took my feelings into account. You still were so much kinder than anyone else, and you still showed me love. Even when I tricked myself into believing that you were taking it away from me, I can see that you weren't. that you could see things I couldn't see because your mind has always been more open than mine, and you knew that it didn't have to be a life of pain and misery and thinking life's not fair and that's just the way things have to be. And then I think about us, and I think about love, and I can't get over it. You are my first love. I hope that you'll be my last love too, though, to be honest, the only thing that's been able to grow around me is bigger and bigger messes, and I confess, I don't know how to get out of it. I feel like the first step, really, even, is just confessing it, and I'm scared witless of doing that. Though I can see that part of how you got to where you are is by embracing authenticity. Which is funny because of all the things that I can imagine to be brave, that's the last thing I ever would have thought about first, and I can see that it is the most bravest thing any human can do. Especially because you have this way of embracing authenticity to a level I've never known. I've seen people pretend. I've seen people be authentic when it comes to the good stuff, but you're honest about the bad too. You own what's yours to own, and don't pretend to be someone who's so perfect they never do anything wrong. And I know that that's real self-love too. And I don't know, it gives me hope. It's not a burning, raging fire yet, but it's more than a candle, and almost a campfire, and it's inspiring me. I know that I can be. I know that I am so much more than I've been, and I don't know, I'm starting to embrace being this masculine that you say you've always seen in me underneath the fear and anxiety. I feel like if you can succeed and do so many incredible things, that if you can see that in me, then it must be true. And I don't know, maybe it's absurd, but that thought it makes me feel better than any other thought. And I hope that, if nothing else, I can embrace that thought and learn how to, I don't know, create that Midas touch that you have, just by allowing myself for once to imagine that I'm worth being thought of as such a masculine. Thank you, feminine.